What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and I'm here to do something. I don't know, but I wanted to revisit this character because one, she just got buffed, and not only is she just got buffed, I mean, look at this. She even got a new skin. You know, she got like it's really crazy when you go away from a game for so long and then you come back and it's like, oh, what's new? And the character, this is, if you guys remember the storyline, my epic 7 people that are still here for some god awful reason. First of all, thank you for sticking around, and anyone that's new here, feel free to follow and subscribe. This is actually the character that I got pretty much from my selective summon, because at the time I was told that, oh, Destina's broken, it's so hard to get around it, she's gonna make it so good for you and all the other nonsense. And it's like, bro, if there's anything, I don't really support rerolling, but for the love of God, do not start the game with a healer. That's just, things need to die in the beginning. You need to be able to kill things. Now she is a little bit different, so let's go over her in the skin. I mean, why would I? Oh wait, I'm an idiot. Shut up.
Don't be afraid.
So now we have her looking a little bit more spicy, you know what I'm saying? So first you have her S1, which seems to be exactly the same. Attacks the enemy with a staff, heals the lowest health character on your team, and the healing is scaling off of her max health. That is very important. I've said this before in the past when I used to do these videos, is that the character has to, like, if you're building a HP tank, you want the heal to scale off their thing so you can fully heal a squishy. Like, you don't want it to scale off their health because then it's not going to be doing anything. Then you can also use the soul burn on it and it does affect. I think she's one of the only ones, like, this is the basic, and I feel like she's one of the only ones that when you burn it, like in the beginning at least, obviously it could be a different ball game now, but she was like one of the only ones that the soul burn changed the actual animation. So, you know, that was like kind of cool for her. Now the second one I know is completely different because before, all this skill used to do was give a decent heal, and then on top of that it would give a combat readiness push. But now they added that it dispels 2 debuffs on the person as well, which is fantastic. It doesn't specify, which I think it should, dispel 2 debuffs and recovering. It usually will say dispel 2 debuffs then heal. So I'll be completely honest, I don't know if you can still be screwed by heal block, but it is what it is. And it scales, and that heal also scales off her max health.
Foolish.
Beast of the West. I love her.
Don't be afraid.
I love her voice and everything like that. And then last but not least, we have the Destina's Grace, right? So Destina's Grace grants all allies the blessing of the Spirit Lord, reviving all dead allies to 20% health. That is not... It did not do that before. Pretty much it was the AoE cleanse on your team and before recovering health. See, there it is. That's how it's supposed to read. Dispels all debuffs before recovering health, because then if you have heal block, you won't get anything. So the way, since it doesn't read like that, I'm assuming you get screwed by heal blocking, or maybe it's just a typo. But amount of recovery increased proportional to her caster's max health, which is great. And now the new thing is start the battle grants spirit blessing, another new thing. So her reviving everyone is new. And then also this part of it, Spirit Blessing, which is increased effective resistance by 60%. Spirit's Blessing cannot be dispelled. I've noticed that a lot of characters have these weird, cool things now, where these weird specific buffs that can't be dispelled to bring more uniqueness to the character, which I think is cool. Now, what this move pretty much essentially is, it's like a reset button. So what you want to do, the game plan with Destina, it's kind of always been her game plan, but the game plan before was to let the enemy go first. They'll debuff you to hell, you cleanse all the debuffs, heal your team back up. They don't have their S3s, they don't have enough stuff to actually kill your rest of your team. It's better for a tanky-esque team, which most people don't run. They usually run a bunch of damage dealers, which cause their teammates to die, and then since their teammates are dead, AoE cleansing heal did absolutely nothing on the bench. But now she can revive them, and I don't know, someone has to correct me here, but I don't know how reviving works in the terms of turn order, but you can get revived and then take your turn, which is one of the weirdest things I think the mechanic they have in the game. But I think it still has to do with spell speed. I've been playing Yugi, sorry. Go check out my Yugi channel, like, comment, subscribe over there too. But when it comes down to it, like, sometimes you could take a turn, so it's not that bad to have a not like super fast team, have a team that will probably die, and then you revive them, and then maybe they can get it going after the revive. Or you have it that they are tanky enough to take all that stuff, you cleanse all the debuffs, and then you're good to go. So Destina's Grace.
Luminescence. Glory.
Glory. I just have to hear Beast of the West at least once. I'm gonna force it out. Say it, lady.
Beast of the West.
There it is. Beast of the West.
Radiant light.
I love it. She's like actually not even who she's like a doll of Ruel, if I remember. This is gonna tell me in like 2 seconds. Why would you come back to this screen? I don't even get it. And she's the only one with the Spirit Lord. I mean, come on. Do I have to say more? Beast of the Western Light. Oh, that's why. Physically manifested in the image of her deeply beloved soul weaver, Ruel. Which is funny because Ruel doesn't AoE revive, unless they changed her too. Yeah, Ruel only revives 1 at the moment. So that's kind of funny that, you know, they gave her like an AoE. Obviously, Ruel does completely different things, but it is funny. Oh yeah, so just a heads up, you see that speed? Garbage. So she's not meant to, like I said, she's not really meant to go first ever. So that's kind of like, she just sit there, she's there to be, the aftermath has happened, and then you cleanse everything, revive everything, which is almost like a cleanse, right? Like, not only did they have debuffs, they also had the death debuff, and you cleanse that by reviving with no debuff. So it's pretty cool. I definitely think that he's good. I'm not gonna say if she's PvP viable. Is she the meta? I have no idea, but I think that she's a cool thing if you like tanky builds that have like high HP, deal damage through HP or defense, like the new character Arya. I think that that's kind of the way you're supposed to do it. I think that like her and Arya actually would be a pretty good combo. The new character, because she sits there, she stealths, and then you can pretty much keep Destina in the back. And that's kind of what's gonna go into my next point, is what I wanted to go with the artifacts. Now, by the way, guys, I had to read a lot of these artifacts because I have no idea of some of them. So I had to go through all the commons and reread all those. I had to go back to the Soul Weaver, make sure they didn't change them in some weird way. So I came up with a nice little list that you guys might either agree with, or you'd be like, yes, guy, please, I never want to see him do a video in this game again. So first thing I wanted to put out was the Guide to a Decision. I thought this was a pretty cool artifact. At start a battle, you get a text message. At start of battle, has a 50% chance. And by the way, I don't know where these artifacts come from. I can assume some of them are like collaboration based or something like that. I don't know if they're in the summoning pool. Don't come from my neck if you can't get it, okay? I probably can't get it, just a heads up. But at start of battle, 50% chance, obviously going up to 100. You can get a barrier that scales off your health, which I think is pretty good. But I like the other part is that if the caster is at max HP after being attacked, increases the combat readiness. It's a nice little cool way that if you are max HP that you can get some combat readiness for it. I think Idol's Cheer is kind of similar to it, but it gives combat readiness to a person with the highest attack. But this one gives combat readiness to the caster to give them an extra turn after they get hit. But it's a little wonky, but I do like it as well. Next one is going to be the Bastion of Hope. Similar thing, you get ER, right? You get an ER, the person gets additional ER. Reading her S3, she probably doesn't need that much ER because she starts off with a decent amount from the first turn. So you probably don't need to equip her with that much ER as far as gear goes. It's really important to keep your healer not stunned. Anything that's going to stop them, pretty much, I think it's just stun, sleep, that could stop them from utilizing a skill. Silence, there we go. I knew there was another one. You don't want them to get hit with that because you need them to take all the oogie boogies off everybody else. So anything that has ER, especially to that degree, like especially if it's maxed out, which again, I don't know how I like that. I think this might be one of the guild artifacts, but geez, starting off with 50 plus whatever ER you have, and that allows you flexibility in your gearing. And I think that that's something that people should actually keep more in mind, is when an artifact gives you something that your gear could give, so you could actually go harder on something in your gear. So Destina starts off with 60 ER because of Spirit's Blessing, and if you combine it with this, then maybe you can actually have gear that has absolutely no ER in it whatsoever, and then you can just focus on HP and defense and just make it a super tank. Like, stuff like that is important, at least it is to me, and I don't know, you guys can tell me how you feel about that, but I think that stuff like that is actually really important. The next one is going to be the Nostalgic Music Box. I've seen her with it, and I was like, I thought that was her passive or something like that. Like maybe I missed something, but I like this one because it gives you defense, flat out increases your defense. So anyone scaling up defense, woohoo! And this is a common one. Again, probably can't get it because she's in a Christmas outfit, but I like it that at the end of the turn you randomly get a buff. It can be barrier, increased defense, immunity, or continuous healing. So I like that. I think it's like really, really cool. Even though it's a random buff, each buff that it shows is fantastic for Destina. Right, the barrier is pretty good because it scales off her health. It says it right there. Increased defense is going to make her tanky. Immunity is going to so she can't get oogie boogies, and continuous healing allows her to kind of heal back whatever she's dealing with. But the only part that I have to say and agree with is anyone that might come from my neck is that the artifact slot is very important, right? So these are the specific Soul Weaver ones. Those are the commons. That means anyone can put them on. And then these are the specific Soul Weaver ones. She's slow, so I don't like any of the ones that have to do with her attacking. She has 2 non-attack skills, so you usually want to utilize that the best that you can. The next one that I did want to mention though is the Guardian Ice Crystals, which is going to be increases ER again, same reason. When an ally's health hits 50 or less after being attacked, recovers health of that ally by 10%, going up to 20, can only be activated once per turn. But that's still pretty good. Like, it's a free heal to that ally. I thought that was pretty cool. Plus, I also get free ER, so I like that as well. The next one I wanted to do is, you know, this one is just stupid. At least when they buffed it, I was still around when they buffed it, that you get increased ER, but everyone gets increased ER, so that's a little bit better. Instead of just giving it solely to her, since she already has an ER buff now, you give it to your allies as well. But on top of that, you also increase the healing that they receive, so your heals become even fatter and stackier, which I think is pretty cool. One of the, you know, honorable mention. And then the last one, but not least, since she is slow as butt, she does have 2 non-attack skills. Magahara's Tome I think would be fantastic for her, and yeah, increases the combat readiness by 30. And since it's a 4-star, it's likely that you will have it maxed out by summoning a ton. So 30% is pretty cool. I think a pretty decent amount in that regard. So that's it. I know you guys are like, what about the runes? I don't like the when it comes to like runes and stuff like that. So like all these things here, like the attack, defense, you know, all these ones, and then a couple new ones. I wasn't actually around for the penetration, revenge, and injury set, right? So I wasn't around for those, so I'm not too familiar with it. But pretty much as a general thing, like, you're pretty much stacking HP and defense like throughout the entirety of your life. Sometimes I remember people would run her on counter because she does heal. She does a pretty decent heal on she would heal on counter, but that's more about fighting into an AoE team and stuff like that. So I really don't like to like suggest too much of the rune set, and like it's like really critical on the character, and usually I'll just address that when you go to character, like, oh, if the character has a crit stuff, you want to crit. Like, it's kind of basic knowledge or something like that. So I do find this kind of redundant, or revenge, so when they get lower in HP, you know, stuff like that. I feel like that's all up to you guys, right? And I actually did forget that she's one of these lovely characters that has a exclusive equipment. I was trying to figure out what the hell it is. Obviously, you can equip these. You get even more ER. Effective resistance. I mean, like I said, it's the most important stat on a cleanser reviver. But you can see dispels 1 debuff on the ally with the lowest health when you use the key. So it not only heals them, but it also will dispel it. That would give more more credence, or more lean you towards a counter set, because you can not only heal them, but you'll take a debuff off of them with the lowest health, if they have one though. That's the only thing. Like, if the highest HP character has a debuff, it's not doing anything for them, so it's a little regen has a 30% chance to reset the cooldown of regen when using regen. I think that's probably one of the better ones. And regen, again, you can increase combat readiness of the target by additional 20, bringing it up to a 50% combat readiness boost. I think that those two things are depending on the other characters that you're bringing it with, because everything becomes methodical in this game. Like, your team comp is very methodical. The third one is the most consistent, I think. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is the most consistent one, while regen is the second one, is more random, obviously 30% chance. So maybe I would go with the third one. You know, sometimes you got to really think about these things. What do you guys think? I'm not here to be an expert. I'm just here to give my thoughts on some of my favorite characters that are now upgraded, and I definitely want to go through like all the light and darks that are now in the game. Since everyone just got a jillion of them, people probably want like guides or something of that nature to like, how do I even make this character? And I'm still pretty knowledgeable enough in the game, at least to break that down. Maybe not like, should you use this character in general versus this character? I can't do that, but I can at least say, hey, this is how you could make this character somewhat decent. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.